Hello, everybody. It's Bob Anderson, and it is June 24th, 2024. So, why am I doing this video? Well, I told you guys in my last video I was going to be out of town for a wedding in Michigan and all that kind of stuff uh, last week, and then I got home and shoot, there was no trading on Wednesday because of some holiday, some created holiday of BS that the government loves to do. And then, and then, uh, like Thursday came along and I was busy because I had scheduled appointments because I was out of town and, whatever. So, anyways, all I did was trade on Friday and today, Monday. And I only took one trade on both days, but I have some observations I want to discuss. One of the main observations I want to discuss is that we are getting towards summertime trading. So I mean, I am trying to shift my trading to the left, and what I mean by shifting it to the left is I'm trying to um, look for trades earlier and earlier in the morning, post opening of the markets than I normally would when the market's got a lot of activity going on. And so take today, for example. Today's Monday. It had no news. There was no news today. So I was looking to take trades as early as possible. I missed a beautiful trade in the NQ this morning. I'll show it to you. And then I did take an NQ trade after that. I made 200 and some dollars on, whatever, per account. And I took a beautiful trade in, I believe it was gold on Friday, but I specifically remember the setup. I mean, I remember the setup more than I do the instrument. So we'll go over that. That setup that I took on Friday was the topic of today's video. And that is when the market has what I have deduced is when the market doesn't have um, a lot of players. It has a hard time, going from zone to zone and things like that, that kind of coincide with the moving averages, getting into some, getting into some nice positions for these pullbacks and the pullbacks being sharp. And then the continuation. These things get more and more difficult. Oil is a perfect example. I mean, oil had a beautiful setup today. But I mean, if you entered properly and you did not have any slippage, and I'm talking about a morning open, and you didn't have any slippage, it went 12 ticks. That was it. And then it rolled back over. And I mean, that's just the kind of market movement that stresses me out because I'm looking for zing zing. You know what I mean? I'm looking for zing zing. I mean, Apex has a new rule, no dicking and dunking, my terminology, dicking and dunking, no dicking and dunking. I said to myself, I wonder how they look at my trades because I'm in and I'm out. On a good day, I'm in and I'm out. For example, my NQ trade today, I was out within a minute. On my trade that I took on Friday, I was out definitely less than 2 minutes. Um, so, my trades tend to be relatively short if I'm lucky. And if I'm, honing in properly on the right setups, my trades tend to be relatively short. And so would a dick and dunk. I mean, you're in, you go up, you put it at even, boom, you're out, anyways, or you get a 10 tick. I mean, you get a 1 tick profit because you moved your stop ahead to cover your commissions, whatever the situation may be. But what I want to talk about is this, and this is the crossover retest. I have a feeling because the market doesn't have so much expansion and contraction, I'm going to have to focus more on these crossover retests. and especially in the overnight open, because when the market's not expanding and contracting, okay, as we've talked about, because there's not many players in the market, okay, then a lot of times you're going to find that price is hanging out around the overnight open because it's not going that way. It's not going that way. And what's the overnight open? Well, it's just the consolidation of price from the day before. I mean, that's what it is. So to keep that in mind, let's talk about this. This is your overnight open, and this is price. What I look for when I'm looking for a crossover retest is I'm looking for price to go through either that moving average or that overnight open with authority. So you had no misconception that you should have taken it as a short, for example. So when it goes through with authority. And then it creates a gap of space, which is this, which is space between the bottom of the candles and the overnight open. It creates a gap of space. That gap of space is important because it gives the traders that they're trying to fake out the belief that if you don't get on the train right now, you're going to miss the trade. And then is the next part, is the rollover and the retest. Now they want to do that violently also. They want the rollover retest to be violent. Violent means consistent, sharp, harsh pullback so that it's scaring out the people that chased it long. And then once that's that whole pulling the slingshot back. And then they bring it to the point of support, for example, on a long support, which is the overnight open on the top side, and then the break of that candle, woof, that's your crossover retest. So is it exciting if that goes through the overnight open and creates and busts the Donchian Channel? Yeah, it is. Is it necessarily going to happen? Not necessarily. Especially when the market just does not have much movement in it. So I'm going to show you some examples of this. Last week had a ton of these type trades. Holy cow, last week did. I went back and looked at some charts. And that's what gave me the confidence on Friday to sit here and actually do that. So anyways, it goes back to the have you seen this movie before? And then I'm going to show you my crossover retest I took in the in NQ today for a couple $100. And then I'm going to show trades that I didn't take and why. There are some idiosyncrasies on some things on why I don't take a trade. Okay, so give me a second. I'll pull these charts up. All right, so let's look at gold on Friday. Okay, let's look at gold on Friday. I actually marked this chart up so we can actually discuss it. So let me show you the trade I took. Okay, and it's going back to what I was talking about with the crossover retest. This is gold. Okay, so gold meandered down to the overnight open at 857. Now, mind you, gold opens at 820. Okay, so it's been open for a little while, and we haven't gotten to where the equity market's open yet, where it can kind of get a little crazy. So I'm looking at it. This came down to the overnight open, but didn't pierce it. See that? Did not pierce the overnight open. Then it rolled up, then it rolled down. So, I mean, I'm not looking for any overnight open trade based off this. If this thing kept coming down, and then pierced, like say this stuff in the middle here wasn't there, and we just went just like this, then the entry is, and this doesn't go below it. That's the entry. Okay. But because this is below it and closing, and this is above it and rolling up, I mean, there's just nothing there. I mean, you have to have that smooth, sharp pullback, smooth, sharp pullback, smooth, sharp pullback. So then what do we get? Well, then it rolls up, and see, this high did not go higher than this high. And then it rolled over again. Look at it, came through there with authority, broke the Donchian channel, came back up. I want to show you this. Pierced the overnight open by a tick. Literally by a tick. Boom, that was my entry. Boom, that was my target. I had 2 contracts, $400. I was done. So I was done on Friday at 9:26 in the morning. 9:26 in the morning. But here's the interesting part, okay? But I proceeded to watch gold and not take any of these trades. Watch this. Watch gold. I mean, Friday it was hot as butter, melted butter. Look at it. So it rolls up, doesn't get to a gold line. By the way, note this didn't pierce the 1 minute gold line. This pierced the overnight open. Firm crossover, retest. This from here to here is over 20 ticks. And then bam, bam. I may have been out. Wait a second, let me look here. I may have been out in the first minute. I don't have my tags on here. Yeah, I was actually out in the first minute. Sorry. I was out in the first minute. I didn't even catch any of this. I was out in the first minute. So I was in that trade for less than a minute. Well, watch this. So we had a cross. We've crossed over the 1 minute gold line, and we've come down, and we have yet to pierce it since space has been created. And then all of a sudden, bam, we have a daily low, high, higher low, higher low, higher low, bam, boom. That would have been another $400 in less than a minute. That literally would have been another $400 right there. Boom, 65, 4, 34, 30, 63, 4, right there. Boom. In 1 minute. That'd have been another 20 ticks. Didn't take it. Okay. I sat here and watched that. Then we had news. You have to pay attention. I got that written on my chart here, news. So all this little activity I ignored. And then all of a sudden, boom, daily low, daily high. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Bam, there's your entry. Bam, there's your target. That one would have taken you 2 minutes. But there it is. Bam, here's your entry, which was 59.10. And here's your out if you're doing 20 ticks, 57.10. And it went down, it went 50 ticks plus. All right, so here we are. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Now we have another daily low, higher low, higher low, higher low, but we have news. See, I wrote that on here. We had news again at 10 o'clock. So I would not have been looking for a trade, but the damn thing worked anyways. Look at the crossover of the overnight open, crossover of the gold line in agreement with the direction of the red line, retest of the overnight open, test of the gold line, test of the gold line, test of the gold line, based off the exact rules that I've told everybody on this channel. So if you'd have traded this thing, again, it's all an if, but here's 20 ticks, here's 20 ticks, here's 20 ticks. I would have completely ignored this because of news. I'm just being honest. So then we have a new daily low here, but we're rolling over, rolling over, rolling over, rolling over. Now we're coming up. Now we're coming up. Now we're coming up. Okay. So we have a lower, what do we call that? A lower, higher low, higher low, high or low, boom. Did we get our money? 47. Wait, what is it? 47 even. 47.1 is your entry. 45. It covered it by one tick. So let's say you had a tick of slippage. Once it hit the bottom, boy, you gotta let it not come back on you. And then we just went meandering. And then we crossed over, rolled up, and never had a break. Never broke the bottom of the candle, so you weren't in that. And then bam, that's it. I mean, I'm done at that point because it's after, now you're getting towards 11 o'clock, yada, yada, yada. And we got the Donchian Channel way up here, the Donchian Channel way down there. So I'm not looking for anything there. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about today. All right. So today was choppy, 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 choppy. Okay. So 9 o'clock. Let's just talk about today. 9 o'clock. So we're rolling. We get past 9 o'clock. This broke the high of this candle right here and came back in. So this is not a trade. Even though I think the damn thing, yeah, it actually would have worked. But anyway, so then you start coming down in. Now you got a Donchian high. Now you start coming down into here, and you would be in long here. And boom, you would have got knocked out. If you follow the bottom of the candles like I like to do, you'd have got knocked out for a loss there. Come back, sits on the 5-minute red line, sits on the 5-minute red line. I'm not looking for 5-minute red line trades this early in the morning. Roll up, create a new Donchian high, comes right through the 1-minute gold line. Forget it. There's no trade, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, we run all the way up. Now, I want to show you something here. Okay, because some of you might say, well, all right, Bob, how come you didn't take that trade? All right, so let me clear this off and show you something. Okay, let's talk about pivot rotations. This is where price pivoted from, right? Everybody can see that, right? It pivoted from here. And we had a nice run up, no doubt. The problem is there was a reason price pivoted there. What that reason is, I don't know. It may have been a sell zone. It may have been some kind of pivot marker. It may have been a previous day high. It may have been something, but there's a reason it rotated from here back to here. It could just be big traders made their money here and rolled it over. Could be a lot of reasons. But what's more important is that you don't know the reason why it rotated from here to here. But what I do know is the distance from the top of this candle breaking to there is not a lot of room. So like if you took the break of this candle, which top of that candle is 46.10, so you're getting in at 46.20. This is only 46.50. That's only 3 ticks. There's not room for the trade to move towards the known. Let me clarify that because we know this. The known resistance area and your entry. Okay, you want it to be like this, where the gap between here and here is significant enough that when price runs up and starts running into this resistance again, you can manage your stop to keep you from getting plowed over. Okay, so I don't like trades where the top of the candle is so close to the Donchian high or the daily high. Because you're looking at a lot of resistance right here for whatever reason that you don't know about. And that means, and by the way, let's go back to the rubber band. That means the rubber band that you're looking for, which is the sharp pullback for the sharp response, that rubber band is not stretched anymore because your entry is so far up here to that pivot. There's no, the rubber band has no strength in it, if I'm making sense. So not looking for that trade. Why didn't I want this trade now that we're past, say, 10 o'clock? Well, we went, which is the 5-minute red line. Well, because we went down, then we went up, then we went down, and then we went up, and then we went down. So these ups and downs on a 5-minute chart are not confidence that the 5-minute traders are seeing a hard, firm pullback to the 5-minute red line. Now, did it work? Yeah, it did, but I didn't take it. Okay, now let's talk about this. Why this, and this one's so important. Why did I not? Well, first of all, none of them ever set up. But why did I not even concern myself with taking a long here? Okay, because we rolled up, broke Donchian channels, right? Pretty obvious. We did all that. Okay, we got Donchian high here, but the pivot that brought us there. Now this could get confusing, but it's all part of your eye perception of seeing these things. But we had a rotation down and a pivot that created that high. Okay, remember we're looking for stair steps. What direction are the steps going? So for this to be the step that goes to the next step, this cannot be compromised. This cannot be compromised to the downside. If this is your pivot, notice it never touched the gold line, so you don't have, a gold line long here, okay? But then you create a new daily high and you pull back, pull back, pull back. But what are we missing here? Well, what we're missing is that this low right here, which is 45.10, broke this low of 45.20. And I can't stress enough that those one tick breaks, one direction or another, are so often the signal. They're the signal of what the market is now looking to do. When you pulled this down and then up and created a new daily high, this needed to come down and sit on this gold line, obviously, but it did not need to break that pivot in the process, in my opinion. Okay? Because that's showing you that now you may be rotating the steps down, which is exactly what they did. Okay? It's not a tradable event to me, but it is clear. They created that shelf. See that? 2 candles in a row. If you look, 2 candles in a row created that shelf. And then when that shelf was broke, bam, it's gone. It's over. Now, granted, none of them broke the candles to the upside for an entry anyways, but I never even was managing along down through here because this pierced that. All right. So let's quickly just talk about my NQ trade, my one NQ trade I took today, and kind of wrap this video up. So we had this was Harry Carey. Okay, so here's the trade I missed. Okay, here's the trade I missed. And by the way, it's kind of happened. Anyways, when I look to my left, I see things, and sometimes those give me confidence in other things I'm going to see, hopefully later. But anyways, we're in a down day in the NQ today. See this? Because here's the overnight open, and we're down from it. Okay. And then we get past the open. Here's the open. We create this high, come back down, boom, 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 down, create a new daily low at 9:45. And look at that. I mean, I actually watched this damn thing live and didn't do a damn thing about it. But lower high, right into the gold line. It was the first one after the crossover where you have a gap, boom, bam, bam. Holy cow. Then we ran up to the 5-minute red line, rolled down. Now, mind you, this is before 10 o'clock. I don't like to look at these early in the morning. Even though that was a nice smooth pullback, I get all that, but we did break this pretty significant pivot on the way up. See that? That's a pretty significant pivot that we broke on the way up. So am I surprised that they ended up blowing it out the top? No, I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. But so then we had a breakdown here, and it didn't get to the gold line, roll up, and then we broke this pivot here, and there was just nothing to look at until all of a sudden we said we did. Now notice this. This is early in the morning. This is during the open, so I wouldn't put too much merit on it, but we went down and then we went up and then we slammed down. Okay. We saw that all in agreement with the direction of the market. Okay. So what happened? Well, holy shit. With authority, wham, 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 right through the red line. Okay, we went right through the red line with authority. Bam, came up here, hit the 1 minute gold line, which by the way is a potential short right there. Except we didn't break a Donchian channel, so I'm not concerned about that. We didn't break a Donchian channel. Then all of a sudden, bam, we pierced the 5-minute red line after that crossover, just like we did here. See how they pierced the 1 minute gold line a couple times right here, then pierced the 5-minute red line, and bam, we're after 10 o'clock, pierced the 5-minute red line, bam, bam, there I am, I'm out. $200 and some. So that was my one trade I took today. I'm telling you, it was patience. I had to have a ton of patience today because there was literally nothing really moving. I've just totally sworn off oil. It's just not worth it while it continues to trade around the zone of, $78 to $81. I mean, it doesn't have the volume. It doesn't have the push. So anyways, that's that. I think hold on one second. Let me look at my RTY and see if I saw something over here that I identified. Oh yes. Okay. I want to show one thing on the RTY. This is why sometimes you got to look at charts. You really got to look at charts live. Okay. You really got to look at charts live because live, let's talk about this. Live, okay, the RTY runs up, creates a new Donchian high, new daily high, rolls back down, comes to here. Now, in reality, the way this actually happened live, so let me remove this. We went from here to here. Okay, we went. Let's follow this. This live, we went from here. Here's where we opened this candle. We went from actually it opened here. Sorry, but we went and sat around in here, and then we went right to here. Then we rolled over. So what did we do in the process? This is important, in my opinion. That's why it's hard to just glance at charts. You got to really be kind of paying attention as the trade's set up, because this top blew this top before this ever tested the 9 EMA. And so if you don't have your piercing of your 9 EMA, there is no breaking of the top of the candle. So this was a trade that I never would have entered for multiple reasons. Number one, we didn't get here, but then by the time we did get here, we already broke the top of the candle to the left. So all this pullback was not even relevant either. Like I'm not waiting for this one to close and go long. I'm just not looking for it. It has to be like this, consistent, 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 consistent. Then boom. Now, mind you, that's a beautiful trade. Problem is, it all happened below the 9 EMA. But you had a daily high, big pullback, nice. Look at that. Look at this. In general, this is what you're looking for. The big gap in this space here. And then the same thing to the long side. Between entry and your pivot point, there's a big gap there too. We just had too much of a pullback. Might have been too early in the morning. I mean, it was 9:45 before you had that rotation. Boom. But it's beautiful, 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 beautiful. If that 9 EMA had been a little bit lagging, by the time it got here. But anyways, those are the things I wanted to just kind of show. I know I kind of rambled on and on, but those are the kind of things I'm looking at. And summertime is going to be tough. So I'm going to be looking for some overnight open crossover, pushes and just trying to get my trading over with early rather than late. Everybody have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.